One, we're alive with the one and only Biotechscanner, the world's preeminent expert on all things AQST. Right? He is like far ahead of everyone else. Maybe I'm number two. Maybe. I don't think so either. Publicly, maybe. But whoever is number two is so far removed from Biotechscanner, it's irrelevant. You know how they put the dots after large numbers?
Yeah.
Like just repeating. You are the number before the dot and the significant ones after. And then it's everyone else where there's just like 3 dots. That's what everyone's fighting for. That's what everyone's fighting for. But how's it going, Biotechscanner? Welcome back, man. Things have been going good. We may have lost Biotechscanner temporarily.
Can you hear me?
We're here. We're here. We're here.
Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Okay. There was something going on with the AirPod.
No worries. No worries. I was just saying, man, you are preeminent. You are the number before and the first 5 after the dot.
I appreciate you. So is the live link tweeted out?
Yeah, we have people on already. It's amazing. Every time you come on, and only on X, exclusively on X.
Sweet.
That's it. You guys want to watch it? I mean, maybe I'll put it on YouTube afterwards. I don't know, but right now it's on X.
Awesome. So, Dan, do you mind if you let me give me some time to talk about kind of touch base on Talkspace, and Aurora Innovations, and then we'll
do because I trusted you. I told you before the show when you tweeted. I bought without even doing the own research, which I recommend against, by the way, but. I know you well enough now, like you're not a charlatan, and I'm happy with the results. Let's just put it that way. So have at it, my friend.
So the latest ticker that I released was Talkspace, and Talkspace it is an online mental health care service, and really love this company. And they are basically profitable now. It's got no debt. The thing I love about it because you got to balance your risk out a little bit. So in the biotech, portfolio, you have these that are relying on clinical trials data and approvals and things like that. Whereas with Talkspace, you don't have to worry about that because they don't have any drugs. It is basically, an online doctor service like Teladoc. Now, one thing I want to address with Talkspace, do not think Talkspace is like Teladoc, which has been really a failure. Not a failure because there's not much demand for it after COVID. So the talk's been tanking like crazy, right? So people would compare Talkspace with Teladoc. It's not. Okay. So basically, Talkspace takes basically the best part out of Teladoc. So what does that mean? There are certain things that people just don't want to get out of the house to go and see, right?
Yeah.
Some things that are very personal, and mental health is.
I'm on their website right now.
Yes.
And as you guys can see, right, check insurance coverage, get matched. I mean, I might do this. I might do some therapy to keep me from all you AQST trolls that are bugging me. Like how I'm not gonna like beat you guys up. I'm gonna take some therapy.
Yeah. So Talkspace has just announced in September a huge partnership with Amazon Health Services. Okay. And you don't get a bigger partner than Amazon. Okay.
Yeah.
That it's kind of like you had me at hello kind of thing
Yeah.
when I did the TD on this. And I'm like, oh yeah. Well, so what happened is Amazon Health wanted a big piece of pie called healthcare. That is trillions dollars worth of dollars here we're talking about. And they want a piece of that pie. Okay. So they went out. So they have their own online clinic, just like Teladoc, and it's called Amazon Clinic, right? So it's strictly online. But then they went out and bought One Medical. Why did they do this? They did this because One Medical has both online and physical offices. So Amazon recognized that there are times that our patients need to go to clinic to do blood work, right? There are certain conditions and diseases that you have to be in front of the physician to examine, you know. So they recognize that, and they bought them out for what 2.9 billion dollars, or 3.9 billion dollars. Okay, and then they went out. I was like, but to them there is something missing, and what is that? Mental health. Okay, psychiatry, mental health, right? They don't have that. And the thing is, they also recognize that people get embarrassed waiting in the patient room at these counselor, at these psychologists, and psychiatrists' offices. And people go in and out. People are crying, leaving the office, and stuff, all kinds of stuff like that. Okay, and you have to understand that these patients are already dealing with some type of mental health, depression, whatsoever. They don't want to leave the house, and that's why there's not enough people getting the help that they need. So
Yeah.
Talkspace is basically mental health services at their fingertips. It's on an
At the
app.
fingertips. And you know what's crazy about it, biotech, is that you described the total addressable market currently, but they're a paradigm shifting. They're like people like me. I never been to a therapist, thank God. You know, I have family history. I
Right.
never have been. But there are things where I'm like, you know what? If it was as easy as picking up my phone and doing it, I may need to talk to someone right now. You know, all you trolls out there on AQST getting me, pissing me off. I'm not gonna go to a real therapist for that. It's
Yeah.
kind of stupid,
Yeah.
right? But my point, and I'm joking, but my
Right.
point is little things that before I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna make an appointment and
Yeah.
drive up. Now I can just pick up my phone and be like, let's see, maybe
Yeah.
someone talk to me right now.
Well, and I believe there was a statistic that the CEO may have shared on one of the calls that they have prevented like more than 1,500 episodes of potential suicide episodes. So the,
Wow.
the, the cool thing about Talkspace is it's on an app, and you can see the therapist live, or if you prefer just to text that therapist, you can actually do that as well. So imagine that person feeling like it's the end of the world, life is not worth the living, and then bam, oh, they remember, hey, I can text, Dr. So and so, you know, they could actually prescribe medication if they're seeing a psychiatrist,
Yeah.
refill their medication. So somebody raised a question about, hey, they are basically still a telehealth. No, they're not. They tele Talkspace is imagine you take the best part of Teladoc and you remove that from Teladoc, and that's what Talkspace is. Mental health services. They don't have that huge overhead cost with all those diseases and all those workers. They only focus on one thing, you know. And so the other question you have to ask is, if they are a failed experiment like Teladoc, why in the world would Amazon want to be partners with them, right? And I truly believe that Amazon Health Services will ultimately acquire Talkspace. Because right now, they're still referring that patient, linking, you click on here, takes you to Talkspace. Dude, just make Talkspace part of Amazon Health.
You think
Or what?
10 times forward earnings is like a fair multiple? That would make this a $4.5 billion market cap.
And to be honest, I'm just being like really, really conservative.
Mhm.
And I've tweeted this out that Amazon Health will definitely could buy Talkspace for a drop in the bucket of $2 billion
Yeah.
and get it done with. So
Do you
they don't
think
have
Talk
to
has
do
the brand? Does Talk have a good brand yet? Because my fear would be, and I'm a shareholder as well, Amazon can try to copy it, right?
Oh
If
no,
it's
no.
not.
Yeah, yeah. They talk Amazon, they they have not shown any indication to be doing that. And actually, they knew about Talkspace. They could have stolen it even before they partnered with them.
I see.
So definitely not going to do that now, right?
Right.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's only been a month and a half since they announced the partnership on September
Yeah.
17th. So they're going to want to see, and there are evidence, I believe, that the company is doing to kind of woo Amazon Health, like share buyback. You know, they are barely profitable, and they already announced $40 million worth of share buyback. They already used 8 million of that, and that's another thing. You buy in stock space now, you know that their share buyback. So even if it drops, it's not going to drop that much because the company's going to buy some shares. So it's one of those investments that I could sleep at night. I don't have to worry about it because
Yeah.
I know they have no debt. Their revenues is growing like crazy, and this is before their partnership with Amazon Health, and then they are barely launching their Medicare access to seniors, who, as you know, they are probably the loneliest population, right? The children have moved out. They're probably living by themselves. They're probably at some type of, home or whatever. They have access to all this, right? So that is Talkspace. Um, and they have earnings tomorrow, and I believe the earnings going to be really, really good. Okay. And Talkspace is not like, you hold, you flip. I mean, you invest in it, you let them work. But I ultimately believe that it will be acquired by Amazon Health. Okay. Then now let's move into the fun one as well, Aurora Innovation. This
Love it.
this has been crazy.
Wait,
Okay.
before Aurora, do you want to answer Will's question real quick?
Sure.
How big is AWS pharmacy business? I tried to Google it. I couldn't find it, but I found they are going to be pretty soon the number 1 or 2 biggest pharmacy in the world because Walgreens and CVS kind of having issues. If they have plans to expand there, having a portal for doctors to then prescribe patients and flow that through Talk to AWS pharmacy, I think Will understands the gist.
Listen, Will, that's what I'm trying to say. Is that it makes so much sense for Amazon to buy Talkspace. It just, I tweeted this out. You complete me. I mean, it fits right in so perfectly. Okay.
Perfectly, yeah. I
Yeah.
just wanted
Yeah.
to get Will's question out there, but
Yeah.
we can go to Aurora now. Sorry
Okay.
to interrupt.
No problem. Thank you for that question, Will. Aurora Innovation, their earnings is on Wednesday. The earnings is really not significant. But the one thing that I'm looking for this earning call, because they are earning some revenues because of they are already making the trek from Dallas to Houston, but with the driver inside, just supervising the robot. They're making some revenue, but that's insignificant, right? But what I want to hear is you are announcing that we are on track to launch by end of year still. So they had to close the safety case, meaning they have proven to the federal government. So a lot of people don't understand this. They don't know that, like, oh, do you have to get approval by Texas? No, it's the federal government that regulates interstate highways because that's what the road that's gonna the truck's gonna be driving on, and then they're gonna be entering the terminal right off the highway. So but Aurora is working with state and local government. That's why they hosted that meeting, preparing everybody, the partners, state and local government, police officers, rescue folks, preparing for launch. So what I want to hear is launch is still on. Okay. Now, what I want to also say is the launch in the past has been delayed before because this initial launch was originally to happen like a year ago. Okay. But the thing is, as you roll things out and software all out, there are still things to iron out. So as of right now, the last time they talked, the safety case is 95% closed, meaning they're very, very close. There are some maybe it's major things they need to iron out. Then it'll get approval. Okay. So that 5% is what we're waiting on. Okay. So let's say it's delayed for 6 months. Unfortunately, the stock is going to drop. But to me, that's a buying opportunity because why? Because sooner or later this is going to launch. Because they are already planning for the next route already, and then you have Volvo, you have Peterbilt, you have Continental already building trucks for Aurora. Okay, you have all of these massive partners that are already building that truck.
Interesting.
Okay, so. So I believe that launch will get to happen. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And when it does, and if it does, this stock is going to move quite a bit. It's going to move.
Yeah.
It's going to move up quite a bit. You are talking about the closest thing for me to compare this to is when Tesla just started. You have to remember Tesla had a lot of delays as well. They almost went bankrupt as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but man, once you're in, dude, you gotta hang on to those shares. You can flip if you want to, but this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Okay. Just like. So anyway, so that is it. So on Wednesday, listen to that.
I'm gonna listen.
Earnings call, and the earnings is. Don't worry about the earnings. Just listen to what they say about the launch.
I'd be curious to hear. When this will be my first earnings, I'll listen to of theirs. But the AI companies are all dependent on NVIDIA, and so I'd be curious about any effects that they may have, like pricing pressure, because NVIDIA is basically charging premium now for their shortage and their demand. So, but it sounds like Aurora's maybe one of their preferred vendors at this point.
Yeah, they had that. They announced a partnership like 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
And maybe that. Yeah, I think they are continuing to buying or upgrading their software and hardware.
Upgrading on the stack. Yeah.
To train.
Because I don't think Tesla will let them use their stack, right? They're kind of competitors in a way.
Yeah, but so here's the thing that I love about Aurora. Aurora is way ahead of everybody, including Tesla. The thing that is holding Tesla back is Elon Musk doesn't believe in LiDAR. I guarantee you, Dan, the moment Elon Musk announced that he will now start installing LiDAR on his car, Tesla gonna go up by 30%.
He won't, though. Judging by that book I just read, Walter Isaacson's bio, he is adamantly opposed to LiDAR. He wants, because he's connecting it to Optimus, the robot, and that's all visual data and everything is visual data. That's his belief. More power to him. I think there's opportunity for both.
And that's fine. But the thing is, what LiDAR does is it gets to see distance far 5 football fields down the road. So you don't wait until you don't just focus. Rely on just the visual, the immediate visual field. Okay, that's what LiDAR does. It sets up and then it sees through the fog and all of that, and then it can detect objects moving the distance and vector and direction, which is vector, and time and speed. So that's why Waymo gets to moving around everywhere now, and they're actually expanding into Phoenix, by the way.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I saw one the other day. I saw one driving around. No one in it. The weirdest thing I ever seen, man. It's got these camera like all over the roof, everything, spinning.
That's LiDAR and radar combined. So anyway, so that is that. So now, my baby, AQST.
My baby.
Aquestive Therapeutics.
Oh, I love this thing. Until it proves me wrong, I love it.
Okay. So, the oral allergen
syndrome
challenge result was released, and I wanted to wait until that result came out and kind of go over it with investors. To me, this was the biggest test. It's the most real world, as close to real world as it can be. Okay. To me, the trial and the design and the patient population, and all this, to me, the whole thing is much more closely related to what will happen to the patient and how Anafilm will help them. Okay. So, so that is why I'm excited about this. Dan, I think you froze up. Did I lose you? Sorry, you all. Dan, we lost Dan. But I do have, hang on a second. Oops, right there.
Man, I think we crashed the live stream.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know. Something happened with the StreamYard or the internet, but we're back.
Okay. So, sorry everyone. So, I promised you all that I'm I'm going to do something that has not been revealed or anything. I'm about to tweet out, and please follow along. This article, the funny thing is, it was not sent, the company didn't send this out. I'm not sure why. It is awesome. Okay. So the CEO and the Chief Science Officer, Steve Wagaki, was interviewed, okay, right after the result was released.
Right.
And this article right here, it explains everything about the trial, the results, the design, what have they done, what has the FDA asked them to do. It covers everything.
Was it the one with
Allergic
living magazine?
living, yes.
Yeah, I saw that one on LinkedIn. They posted
Yes.
it on LinkedIn
Yes,
2
they
days
did.
ago.
Yeah. And so if you please read this article, because it explains everything from the very beginning. And one thing that we take for granted, right? That, oh, Anafilm works great. But how does it work? Because it's epinephrine, okay? And epinephrine has been on the market for decades and decades, okay? Well, how come nobody has tried this? They have thought about it, okay? How come nobody tried it? Okay, good job, Bill. Let me tell you I'll pull out one quote from the article. Okay, so anaphylaxis, it causes vasodilation. Okay, or any allergic reaction, it causes your blood vessels to expand. Okay, so the whole purpose of the trial for oral allergen syndrome challenge is, will the vasodilation impact the pharmacokinetic of Anafilm? They want to see. So, in summary, it did not. Whether a patient is normal or after they were given a fruit that they're known to be allergic to, okay, and the results was awesome. Within 2 minutes,
Right.
50% of the symptoms were gone, and by 12 minutes, it's totally resolved. Okay.
Yeah, 12 minutes was the T max.
Now,
Yeah. That's
so
Lana. She's very interested in AQST. I tell her, you need to buy this thing.
so back to the vasoconstriction. Okay. So with Anafilm, you're supposed to put under your tongue. Okay. But epinephrine causes vasoconstriction. How is that going to help the patient? Right? But remember the patented technology that AQST has. All right. To control the absorption as well as the concentration of epinephrine. They are the only company that's got this patent. All right. So what happens when? So how does it work? How come it does not cause vasoconstriction the moment it touches the tongue? Why does it wait until it enters the body? Then that's what this, we take this technology for granted. We just assume that, oh, it's supposed to work like that. No, the company had to engineer the drug. They had to modify the the epinephrine molecule for it to work this way. Let me give you a direct quote from the article. Okay, here we go. You want vasoconstriction to happen in the body, but not at the absorption site, which is right at the time. So you don't want that to happen there. You want it to happen in the bloodstream. It's the thing that you want. We want the vasoconstriction, but we don't want it just yet. Next. To overcome that, Aquestive scientists modify the epinephrine molecules to their film to allow them to slip unnoticed through the mouth mucosal membrane. Again, we're taking this for granted.
Yeah.
As soon as epinephrine hits the bloodstream, enzymes detect and trigger the blood vessel to constrict.
Right.
And it happens really, really, really fast. Okay. A question that I get often is, well, how long do they have to hold under their tongue for it to work? Because they may throw up. It happened in a blink of an eye. Okay.
They said in the article, even if you swallow it.
If you swallow it, instead of NFM working to resolve all symptoms in 12, it happens in 25 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
It basically doubles the time, but it still works. Okay.
And that was the first time, because I caught that yesterday too. I read that article last night, and that was the first time they commented on that specific mechanism of action, which is actually their entire value prop. I mean, that's the patentable part of the prodrug, right?
Yeah.
Modifying epinephrine. And the interesting thing is, even if it's under the oral allergen syndrome, where the mouth is swollen, it'll work even if you put it on the mouth, you know.
Okay, so let me address
that.
Okay. And I've said this before to you. Before the oral allergen syndrome challenge, it was supposed to be the edema test, right? Mm-hmm. To see if the expansion of the basal cavity, the mouth cavity will impact PK/PD. And again, but what I've said in the past is, even before the results come out, the CEO if you know how drugs work, it will make sense to you. When your blood vessel and the surface area of your veins or blood vessel or whatever surface it is, when it expands, it absorbs more of the drug, not less. So when I saw this challenge, I knew it's going to work really well, because when something expands, it absorbs more. That's usually the general rule.
I got you.
So I knew it's going to work, and I said that before that, and I tweeted this out. I said, NFM will pass OAS with flying colors, and it did exactly that. And so now I'm going to go back to OAS in a little bit, but let me touch base on, dude, the FDA has put NFM through a gauntlet. All right. First, we want to see if it works if it's hot. We want to see if it's work after somebody drink cold water. We want to see if it works if it's acidic. We want to see if they after eating peanut butter and jelly, to see if the stickiness of the material will impact NFM. And then, of course, the latest being, what if they're, experiencing these symptoms? Well, isn't that what NFM is designed to do? So I knew it's going to work. So what I'm saying is this. The approval path of NFM is, I'm going to use the football, since it's football season analogy. Okay. It's first down and the ball almost touched the goal line. unless you're the Dallas Cowboys, everybody could make it in. My damn Cowboys. And so that is why the chief medical officer saying is on the path of declining risk. And of them will be approved. And you can go back and check my track record on PDUFA, which is FDA approval. I have predicted, I believe, 8. I'm 8-0. This will make it.
You are. Okay. And I got some anecdotal but exclusive feedback on AQST from 2 physicians that work with me here. One is a dermatologist, board certified. I asked him specifically about alopecia, which we didn't get into yet.
Right.
The other one's a board certified internal medicine. Probably Yuma's biggest private practice by far. I told them both about, I gave them the crash course, showed them the slides. I was particularly interested in the dermatologist mechanism of action. By the way, he says it's very possible that does indeed work. But he was also extremely interested in Anafilm. But you know what made them the most? Like the mechanism action, all that stuff, they're like, yeah, okay. And I said, you guys prescribe EpiPen or what? He's like, yeah, for anyone that has allergy, we prescribe. Peanut allergy, we give them. It's common. I said, okay, do you know what's really cool about this thing? It could fit on the back of the phone. And when I said that, they both, eyes wide open, immediately said, that part from a compliance.
Yeah. And
doctors, that part is the most important.
Yeah. And the cool thing is, so what I tweeted it out, what I just tweeted out, if you look at in the middle of the article, it's got that picture.
I saw. And that's the first time we actually see that picture, because before it was on Barber's phone, but it was probably slightly different because he had it behind his case.
Well, I have tweeted this picture out a while back. I've seen it. Yeah. And this to me is a game changer. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, so Anafilm is going to get approved. Then the alopecia indication for epinephrine cream, actually foam, it's gel. Yeah, actually. Gel. Yeah. It's going to be amazing, I believe. But for now, it's going to be, it's always been. For you, it was with Libervant. But for me,
it was Libervant.
Yeah. For me, it's always been about NFL. And if you ask the CEO, he would tell you it's about NFL, right? Yeah. Because everything else is just icing on the cake. And let me tell you about the share price. And this is why I'm talking to you. If you are an investor in ARS or SPRY, I don't get it. Now is the time to get in Aquestive. And ride the wave, just like what you did with SPRY. You could do the same thing, because I'm telling you right now, SPRY gonna be range bound for the next at least year and a half. There is nothing else after Neffy.
They're hoping to get acquired by like a Pfizer or somebody, and then that's their exit. But that's a $1.5 billion today. AQST as of right now, 499.91 million, almost 500 million.
So let me also give the SPRY investor a warning too. And I know there are some that are investing in both. I just want to warn you. the public already knows what they prefer. Why do I say that? Well, in the 3 months, you compare the share price, Sprite has gone up 36%, AQST has gone up 43%. So, but one of these got an FDA approval for the first in class. Why is it still 7% behind AQST? Because people know. People know.
I think it's the doctor. What those doctors told me. They were interested in everything. They thought it from a theory. This is interesting. Epinephrine, interesting. But when I told them that about the phone, they were like, "Oh, this is amazing."
Yeah.
You know. And then I told them about the spray too, and they're like less thrilled about that. And these are prescribers. Like these are not people with dog in the fight.
The day, I believe it was like August 13 or 11 that the nephew got approved, right? It moved up like 5 or 6% or whatever it was. But AQST also moved up like 5 or 6%.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you right now, Dan, the day that NFM gets approval, which is, I believe, is going to be late November, it's going to be a Thanksgiving deal, PDUFA for NFL. The moment that NFM gets approved, if you were a SPRY investor, you better pray. It's going to SPRY is going to drop quite a bit.
They should get out and get into this.
I'm not bashing you. I'm just telling you as an investor community. I'm telling you, okay, because, and I've done this for 19 years, nothing beats the film and the lack of carrying case. It fits the phone. It's not a device.
And that's before we get into alopecia. And that's before, like, these guys built a platform. They didn't build one drug. They have a platform of drugs.
Yeah, so we have earnings on November 4th. And I believe
election day.
Yeah, and so they will be announcing launch, Libervan launch, and they're going to update us on national distribution of Libervan and insurance coverage and all of that. Okay.
Correct.
So they're going to do that again. You know, it's got potential of $100 million. Alopecia, $500 million. NFM, I believe, is going to be actually by itself. It's going to be 1.5 billion to 2 billion.
Right.
And so because everybody's going to want it. The problem, the reason the market where it is right now, because nobody wants a needle. Okay?
Right.
That's why it's so small.
You brought up talk. You opened this with Talkspace, right? And what they did, if you think about it, was reduce friction to the consumer. Like, you know, I'm feeling depressed. I don't want to go. I'm depressed. I'll just deal with it. As opposed to, hey, now I can just open my phone, and it's through the same device, the phone, that Anafilm will be, you know, if we learn anything from the Hermeticist, as is above, so is below. Like the phone is our wallet, and this is where Anafilm will be. It's reducing friction instead of carrying big needles or EpiPens, you know, auto injector. Now it goes on your phone. You don't leave your house without your phone.
Yeah, and the thing is, the theme is basically that Anafilm can fit in any lifestyle and will be everywhere you are.
And these guys are smart. Biotech. I almost said your name. Biotech. Listen, these guys are smart. If you remember Investor Day, when Sherry brought this up, they did a study, a marketing study. How many people, when they leave their home, if they forgot their EpiPen, would go back? Almost none. How many people, if they left their phone, would go back? All of them. Every single one of them.
Yeah. It's, again, if you look at all the tickers that I've released, it's either they're first at something or the only at something or they would revolutionize something. So if you watch the themes of my ticker, if there's nothing unique about it, I don't want to me too. Like Talkspace, okay, like Aurora, like AQST, like Dawn, like IOVA.
Yeah.
It's first of something. They're the only one of something or the best of something, right? Yeah. And I believe that with all of my experience and all the conversations that I have with all these doctors, they all are looking forward to NFL that will change everything.
Yeah.
Nephew will help, but it is going to be NFL that's going to be an immediate choice for schools, universities, militaries, airplanes, buses, I mean, churches, anywhere and everywhere.
This could be a $2 billion market
Easy.
cap. I mean, if the TAM, let's say the, Anafilm gets approved, Libervan, you said 1.5, and the other one's 100 million. Alopecia, by the time it comes out, 3-4 years, another 500 million. That's 2 billion in TAM. Yeah. If you're trading that at 10 times multiple, which is kind of average now for these high-tech stuff, right? That's what, $20 billion market cap, with the stock prices way off of what what that's at, 500 million.
Okay, so last time we talked, I said that it's not every day that we get an apples to apples comparison. Okay, so if you are new or thinking about investing in AQST, okay, I encourage you to go on Google and type in SPRY, AOS for pharmaceutical, okay, price history, okay, because they're nasal spray for anaphylactic shock and severe allergies, okay. So basically 11 months before the drug was approved, the share price was like $2.90, all right. And then on August 11th, they got approved and it went up to $15 and ultimately got to $16. Okay. And here you are having a better option. Okay. And you can, now it basically passed all of these trials already. There's nothing else. The only thing left is the pediatric trial, which is a pretty simple trial.
Right.
And then after that, they'll apply for the NDA, and then the FDA will approve it, and then 10 months from that, they'll get approval decision. And so the reason why I'm saying the price target for me end of 2025 is going to be 15 to 20 is because it actually, that to me is being conservative, because you're talking about ARS Pharmaceutical, which is SPRY as a ticker, they have nothing else in the pipeline.
Right.
And then, but you have this massive pipeline with AQST.
Right, which maybe if you want to get into some of it here, Bill Ball, shout out to you, man. He's saying the gel, for the alopecia, the method must be quite different because they do not want epinephrine in the bloodstream. That's correct. So it's something else proprietary. And they were talking about interleukins and different kind of things like that in the MOA for this, or at least in theory.
So thank you for that point, Bill. If you were on the call for during the Investor Day, and you go through that slides again, which I've done many times. So what you want to do with the epinephrine gel is you want it to be applied to the skin, and you want it to basically stay there. Okay, basically just a little bit under. You do not want it to be in the bloodstream, and the test has shown with that particular formulation it has not, and that's why they got the result that they did. And so it looks very promising, by the way.
Yeah, and
And-
Bill, I think people get confused because this AQST is multiple platform. They have the Adrenoverse platform. They also have the film technology, two completely different platforms, right? One is used for, like, they had the Suboxone, and that's Anafilm, right?
Yeah. So basically, let me clarify that. Anafilm and the epinephrine gel, these two will be still in the Adrenoverse family, but their delivery mechanism are completely different. All right. So anything that is involved with epinephrine or adrenaline, right? That's why the name Adrenoverse derived from. Anything that involves epinephrine is going to belong to the Adrenoverse family. But one is a film, the other one is a gel. And they may have other mechanisms that we have not thought about. And then, of course, we have the Libervan, we have Suboxone and other things that are film-based. Okay, so yeah, again, it has the only reason we're talking about this. It proved my point.
Yeah.
That Aquestive has a pipeline that we can talk about. A pipeline
a pretty good one too.
That is worth $600 million on its own, even not even counting, $1.5 billion maybe with NFL, right? So the fact that we're talking about the pipeline is significant. To me, AQST is a much wiser investment at this point in the game versus Spry, who already got its approval. Okay, how much you think it's gonna go up from here? Especially when people telling me that insiders are now selling all the time too. So it's kind of, to me, it's kind of picked out around 16 or so. It's going to be a kind of range bound between 15 and 16 for a while. But here with AQST, you are nowhere where it should be. So this will move up. AQST is going to move up and up and up the closer it gets to approval date. And other news like Libervan launch, they're making more money. Data from alopecia data trial, things like that. There are much more catalysts going on here. But to me, please do not take it that I'm bashing Spry. Please do not.
No.
Speaking from just a purely investing decision or philosophy, that which one has more potential, right? But you also have to think about the end game.
Yeah.
Okay?
And I think, I mean,
is,
in fairness to Spry, ARS, I mean, we're just comparing it because it's easy, like Biotech said, to compare apples to apples. Like, it's very easy. It's in the same time period, really. But I mean, in fairness to ARS, who knows? They have probably working on their own formulation, like for inhaler. I mean, it's not far a removal to go from a nasal spray to like an inhaler or something. So we're not bashing it. I'm definitely not. But to me, it's clear which one I would put my money in, and I've done it. Like it's not just talk; it's action.
Yeah, Bill has a really good question, and Bill, good question. So, any thoughts about the gel itself will have different indications? Yes, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. Think of even Ozempic. I'm using a drug everybody knows about. Okay, not that I'm recommending Bill to be on Ozempic, Bill.
Hey, man, what are you saying?
But hey,
Bill looks
by
pretty
the way,
sharp.
Bill, I'm not sure you knew, but I launched Ozempic. So, what I'm saying,
Bill looks pretty spry.
Yeah,
for lack of a better
pretty good.
word.
He looks he's in good shape.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's now a drug could have one drug could have 4 or 5 different indications, just like Ozempic is. You know, it's
Yeah.
got the type 2 diabetes, got the cardiovascular indications, probably got the kidney indications, and all kinds of indications. So yeah,
Did you see that? Did you see that? Dave Ricks, the CEO of Lilly, on the All In podcast. I recommend everyone watch it. If you haven't, Biotech, I'll send you the link.
okay,
He talks about Eli Lilly's portfolio coming out. It's all second order effects of obesity.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
this is how these companies think, like platforms, right? And AQST is also thinking the same way.
yeah, I agree. So yeah, I mean, so basically, what I'm saying is that if you are selling AQST now, unless you like way up, I think it's just not wise. And there's so much more room for it to grow. To the price is basically is comparatively speaking to where Sprite was, before launch. It's not even close. So AQST can move. I mean, 10 is so easy for me. I see it being 10 within a few months, probably 6 months or so. But yeah, that's
Will says, and I believe he's talking about Spry or ARS. They are still hiring, by the way. Director of direct to consumer focused on easy strip products 3 days ago. These are not the signs of a company who are not confident in their product roadmap. What is this easy strip? Do you know what this is? Is
yeah,
this
yeah.
ARS?
This is AQST.
Oh, this
This is
AQST.
yeah. This is on their other manufacturing deal. Okay, so and again, the one thing that we haven't talked about is besides having a really good pipeline, an amazing anafilm product that's going to be approved, that's going to be at least $1.5 billion. They are already generating almost $60 million a year on either out licensing and manufacturing these strips. Apparently
Yeah.
business is
Wow.
growing. That's why they keep hiring these people.
That's a really good call, Will. If okay, so yeah, you're right. 60 million on existing sales from the manufacturing that they're already doing, packaging. If you do 10x multiple, because they've got all these drugs in the pipeline. So let's say none of them get approved. The floor. This is the floor for AQST. Let's say Anafilm doesn't get approved, and they come out tomorrow and say, you know what, alopecia, we're not going to do it. Something came out in a mouse study or something. Let's just assume. Okay, 60 million a year at 10 times earnings, right? Because that's the going rate for anything in the game. You're still inventing stuff. That's $600 million market cap. We are still not at the floor price.
Yeah. It's again, it is crazy cheap still, and I'm in it for the long haul. It's by far my largest, in my portfolio, and it's my baby. And of course, we talked about the fact that it's very personal to me as well. And I I have trying to look at it as critically as I could. I couldn't. And then the latest result, let me go back to some people bring up, oh, what about some people, they vomit and things like that. Well, the data came out. So in this OAS trial, Dan, did I lose you again? I think we lost Dan again. But in this OAS trial, it met every endpoint, primary and secondary endpoint, and the side effect profile is awesome. I mean, it beats the manual injector, all the way through. So, anyways, it basically. Um,
Hey,
okay.
man. We're
Yeah.
kidding.
So So I always telling people about the result, this particular result OAS, because sometimes we get these bashers say, oh, well, there's like this vomiting and things like that. Well, this trial was going against the manual injector, okay? And it beat it in every way. And even in the uh, adverse event, under, cardiovascular risks, heart palpitations, things like that, it beats it in every way. Okay. So basically it passed in with flying colors.
Yeah, man. Good thing that the internet here is out of stock. 'Cause,
Dude, okay, so let's do this. Dan, why don't you, hey, ask anybody if they have any questions right now. Just hit us.
we have 500 some odd people just on X, by the way.
Dang.
So if anyone has questions, get them in now while the internet's still going. Next time we do this, I'll do it at my house instead of the clinic. But
Yeah,
this is real out here. I'm asking. I know 3 doctors. One doctor I convinced to buy the stock, and then he was scared because so he bought it because he liked the idea. He's a respiratory guy, right? So
okay.
he's a pulmonologist. He's like, okay, good. I put a little bit, and now he's like, oh, I wish I put more. But when SPRY got approved, this guy's a rookie. He texted me panicked. Oh my gosh, look at this other one got it. I said, Doc, we've known about this for a year, man. What are you telling me? Like, I'm gonna buy more. He's texting me panic, and I'm replying, buy more. And that's what I did.
So what happened was the opposite of his fear. It's gone up about another 30% since
Oh
it
yeah,
got approved.
yeah.
So that tells you right there. Okay, I'm telling you, as an investor, AQST investor, please know this: Anafilm is the best drug to ever come for severe allergy and anaphylaxis ever,
Sure.
ever. So just know that, okay? Just know that this option will be the most preferred by doctors. I've talked to them, okay? And my own experience and what I know about medicine, what I know about drug delivery, I deal with that. I'm telling you right now, NFM is going to be king. Okay, so think about that yacht that I just sent out before I got on here, because NFM is going to be beautiful, baby. I'm so excited for this company, where it's going, because the price right now is.
We did the math. Look, I tried to straw man this thing. That means when you are very bullish, you try to find the weakest case, the weakest parts. I've tried, and I just did the math. Every drug fails. The packaging business, 60 million a year. That's not counting Libervant, by the way, which is
Right.
not failing. That's already on the market.
Yeah.
So you got 60 million plus Libervant sale coming in, plus the adults coming out for that too.
Yep.
At some point, times 10 times forward earnings, 600 million market cap should be.
Yeah.
And it's not. And that's assuming that none of the drugs make it, right? So, yeah, to me, it's a no-brainer.
It's such a non. It's a no-brainer for me, and that's why I hold it. I don't, worry about it, because I knew that OAS gonna be so easy because it's actually helping the drug. Okay.
Yes.
So I knew it's going to be good. Man, I
Greater
know.
surface area.
Yeah, I knew that there was some people who were concerned asking me about it, but I kind of like don't want to answer, but I already knew. And
So do you think biotech, the mechanism of action, because during the like oral allergen syndrome, right? When the cheeks get swelled up because they made them eat like fruits and stuff, raw vegetable, and they would start getting some edema, right? So when they
right,
put the strip there, because the surface area is greater, it starts constricting. The epinephrine starts constricting. So the prodrug itself must be an enzyme that is part of the vasodilating cascade, right? It must be that enzyme that activates this. That's how it goes bypass through the cheeks.
it caused a vasoconstricting cascade because that's what you want.
Right, right. But the enzyme that triggers anafilm, for example, must be one of the enzymes that
Yes,
starts the vasodilating.
probably yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to work. You know why? Because they actually did the edema trial and then they stopped it because the FDA said no, never mind. But they already ran some tests,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the CEO said, and probably people didn't pay attention. People said, and the CEO said, "Oh, yeah, it turned out great," but we
Yeah.
stopped because they wanted this. So, in summary, the FDA has put Anafilm and Aquestive through the gauntlet. All these tests, all these trials, it passed everything with flying color. Okay. Now people will say, well, what if the concentration is too high at this time frame from like the 10 to 20 minutes? It's too high. But here's the thing: the FDA said it can be high, but as long as the patients are safe, you know. So they have to look at the patient, how they're doing. So you justify that by looking at the adverse event data,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And it's clean as a whistle, all right? On the repeat dose, that's like a 4% vomiting, but it's also mild, okay? But if you look at the repeat dose for the manual injectable is actually even higher. You know, the heart palpitations rate much higher for the IM, all right, intramuscular injection. So, so even when the at certain time frame, the PK level is high versus other auto injectors, but as long as the patients are doing well, it's fine. You know,
Yeah.
um, and then of course maintaining it toward the end as well, as long as it is able to maintain it above, 100 picogram per milligram, it's fine. And Anafilm did that also, so there's nothing to worry about there.
And Bill asked any length on the phase one alopecia gel. It's actually going to be a phase two. They already did the phase one
But
studies.
it's going to be phase one, 1A,
Two
2A
A,
kind of thing. 2A,
two A, two B.
yeah. So basically, the yeah, it's gonna be basically a phase two trial.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's a phase 2A, which is they want 48 patients, 3 doses, and placebo for 12 weeks. And then a
yeah,
phase 2B,
2B.
once they find the dose, the reason they do phase 2A,
It's
they're
multiple
yeah,
dosing.
they're checking the dose. What's the ideal dose? When they
Yeah,
find that in a greater number of patients, then they probably another 50. They'll do just on that dose 12 additional weeks
yeah,
plus
and
24 weeks for additional subjects. So that's they're doing. Phase one's already done. They
yeah,
mentioned that during
yeah.
the
It's
thing.
done. Well,
Yeah.
the data that was presented, that's phase one.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
and remember, they did the same thing for NFL too.
And
That's
that's the
why
thing
we have
about
the
these
12
guys.
milligram dose.
they're not presenting data on mice models like these other companies. They do it on human. Like there's something about this. These are both of the trials that they picked are relatively easy compared to and read cheaper than most trials.
Yeah.
And this alopecia with 12 weeks and then another probably 12 weeks. I mean, it's not an expensive study.
Well, yeah, their next step, Bill, basically is a pre-IND meeting and then an IND application.
Yeah.
So once it approved, they will start 2A and 2B. They have to get an IND first, approved first, before they can start the trial. Okay.
Wait, what is the SPRY market cap?
1.43 billion.
And what is SPRY's alopecia drug called? They don't have one. My bad. No, that was AQST.
That's cool, man. That's cool, Dave.
My bad.
That's really mean.
I had to get one on these haters, man.
That's mean. Yeah, I just went every day when I look at the share price for Sprite. That's fine. It goes up, but I'm like, I just don't get it. You buy
Hey, when is SPRY's seizure sales gonna start rolling in? Any day now? Oh, my bad. No, that's another company. My bad.
Yeah.
Man, they're gonna hate me, guys. Just sell your SPRY and get into this. I mean, it probably is a good company too. Maybe they get into asthma, COPD, but why bet on maybe? You have 3 stocks right here.
Yep.
More than enough to choose from.
Exactly.
Exactly. Just follow this man, Biotechscanner. Thank you so much, man. That was a really good episode.
Hopefully that was informative. And hey, if y'all got questions, you can ask me on Twitter.
These guys got good ones too, Bill and William, and I know the people on Twitter, the community is very engaged. Hey, I saw an article today about AQST on my Robinhood.
Oh, you did?
Maybe we'll end with that. Yeah, well, I want to get your thoughts. At the end, they want you to buy something, so I stopped reading. But during the actual, it said something about the majority of the, here it is. Institutions profited after AQST market cap rose 51 million last week, but individual investors profited the most. Right in my Robinhood. And it says, if you want to know who really controls Aquestive, then you'll have to look at the makeup of its share registry. We can see that individual investors own the lion's share with 47% ownership. In other words, the group stands to gain the most or lose the most from their investment. Individual investors gain the most after market cap touched 489. They do have institutions typically have a fair amount in Aquestive as well, but it's the majority is individuals. So the biggest one is Breton Capital Management, which are the hedge fund, the biggest hedge fund, 11%. And then the second largest is 6.0%, followed by 6% of the third largest shareholder. In addition, Daniel Barber, I didn't read this part, has 1.5% of the shares allocated to Dan Barber. Gonna be rich.
You know what?
This dude, no wonder he doesn't want to come on the podcast. We gotta send him caviar or something.
He deserves it.
He deserves.
I mean, can you imagine being the one responsible to bring NFL to the market? That would change the world.
Let's say 500 million times. I want to get some envy right now. Hold on. Dude has this can't be right. Hold on. 500. Is your math good?
So he's got
7.5 million in shares.
Yeah. Dollars. Yeah. 1.5%, right?
At current rate, yeah.
Yeah. So it's got 7.5 million. Holy cow! And it's gonna be I can almost guarantee you it's gonna be at least 15.
Yeah.
You know, and so yeah, he deserves it.
I found that article interesting today on Robinhood that I I was like, wow, where does this come from? And then, but the general public, man, 47%.
Hey,
That's it.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm glad to hear that we're not working for institutions.
that's right.
It's everyday investors. You know, um, unless they're on the podcast that we don't know about, but anything could happen.
There's a few. There's a
But
few. I think
anyways,
there's a few.
but yeah, thank you for your time. Thank you for those of you who jumped on. Really appreciate it. Again, if you have any questions, just holler at me or Dan, and we'll do it again, right, Dan?
Yeah, man, we gotta do this. Gotta do this more often for sure. But absolutely, maybe after earnings or something. I'm gonna be in Chicago. I gotta go
Yeah.
there and get the
Okay.
bag for my company, but
Okay.
unrelated to this. But maybe when I come back, we'll do like a Thanksgiving gobble gobble all the shares you can get.
Right.
Bye bye, everybody. Go follow Biotechscanner right now. Bye bye.